So like I'm about to hop on the cruise ship behind me, basically embracing the principles that I will be sharing with you, which is balancing work with fun. So over the next couple of days, I'll be spending 5 to 10 minutes with you guys each day, and the rest of the time I will then be spending quality time with my own family. So embracing the perfect study work-life balance. Hey everyone, it's Dr. Hugo here. If you are new here, welcome to the channel. I help students and working professionals study more efficiently so they can regain more free time and achieve perfect study-life balance. So in order to achieve this balance, you first need to understand the 3 key areas which you need to overcome to improve on these inefficiencies, which I'll cover later in this video. So I've coached over thousands of students now, over 90 countries in the world at the moment, and for each of these students, effectively I've sat down and actually asked them, hey, what are the problems that you are currently struggling with? So all of them actually have a unique problem or a unique life situation that they are having. For example, they may be a student that is actually working a part-time job, or they may be a working professional juggling their full-time work and also having young kids on the side. But inevitably, their study problems itself is actually not unique, and it comes down to these 3 key areas, which I'll cover in a second. So on to the first inefficiency that I want to talk to you about is time inefficiency. So this happens to a lot of students. So essentially, if you are a student that, first of all, don't put enough time to study, then that becomes a problem. But a lot of people are into the second boat, which essentially people who are putting in time, they're actually putting down 2-hour blocks, 3-hour blocks, but their time is not actually used efficiently. So for example, if you're on a cruise ship, you're rock climbing, you are doing bumper cars, you're doing wave riding, then you're not effectively studying well. So like take it to a study session that you're having. If you're sitting down, you're not able to focus right away. Of the 3 hours or 4 hours that you actually put in, how many of those time actually effectively used for your own studies? That will be the problem for you at the moment. So this is why I take people through what I call the time inefficiency diagnosis process, which is effectively trying to track the days of the week and how actually effectively you're using your time. For example, when you're sitting down to study, how many of those hours are you using that is actually effective for your own studies? So the second thing that we talk about, the time efficiency side of things, is the concept of the study efficiency curve. Basically meaning you do need a set amount of time, for example, approximately 30 minutes to actually get in the zone or into the flow state, what we mean, where your productivity actually increases by a lot. So a lot of students, what happens is 5 to 10 minutes in, they'll take out the phone and then they become distracted and they don't know what's happening, and they have to come back and switch to the task again, and it becomes a very ineffective process. They'll try to study for 3 hours, but effectively they may have only gotten about 20 minutes or 30 minutes of actual effective flow state time. So that's the first key that you need to understand to improve your time efficiency. I also have a detailed module below, which is for free, that you can sign up, and actually will go through the process to improve the time efficiency side of things for you. So we've just hopped on the ship, which leads on to the second inefficiency that I want to talk to you about, which is study inefficiency. So I don't know if you've ever had this problem of studying a certain topic the night before, and then the next day someone or your colleague or your friend would talk to you about the same topic, and you would then have a mind blank. You didn't know what you studied. You spent 3 hours yesterday studying, but you had no idea what had gone past your head. It's all completely gone. So that is the second key that I'm talking about, which is study inefficiency. So even if you do put in 3 hours of focus time, is all that information that you studied getting retained into your brain? If not, then that is a sign of study inefficiency. So when it comes down to study inefficiency, what you really need to know is, with the lecture material and all the information that you need to learn for your courses, for example, if you are studying for your chartered accountancy, for your work, etc., there are 2 main category information types, which is, first is the concept side of things, and secondly, which is the facts side of things. And one of the big problems is that people don't know that these 2 big category information types need separate learning mechanisms or learning methods for these things. So for example, a lot of people would be learning certain concepts, for example in biology, how the physiology of the heart works, and they would memorize that as if you're learning a fact. Then that becomes a problem. So in a big picture, what you really need to do is, with the concept side of things, you need to learn the process of how to learn. That meta-learning process, how your brain works, how it stores information, all the sensory information into your short-term memory, and how you encode that into your long-term memory, and how you can actually retrieve all of this when you really need it for your studies, for your work, or for your career in the future. So when you continue to learn more about the same topic, you interlink all the existing knowledge that you have, and you form a higher order of learning. And like anything, learning is just a skill, something you start to learn and you continue to build upon it so you become good at that. And then once you learn all of these concepts, then you have a lot of facts that you can fill in the gaps as well. For example, suddenly you need to memorize 20 different objects, which I've got an exercise down below that you can do, that I can show you that you can use certain methods like using imagery or using emotional keywords to help you improve your memory by 200 to 300% in just 15 minutes. And you can click the link below to access those memory modules that can improve your memory drastically. But those modules are really just improving your ability to memorize these facts. The next skill you really need to learn is arguably most important, which is how you can understand and apply and recreate things using the knowledge that you have learned, so it becomes yours. That's why when information gets learnt once and for all, it gets stuck in your brain, because, for example, when you learn a new concept, you're able to explain it using simple words or analogies or examples related to something that you already know. These are demonstrations of higher level of knowledge that often the exams are testing you. And a lot of students aren't leveraging these high order of learning to supplement their own learning at the moment. So that really concludes our second key area of inefficiency, which is study inefficiency. So think about it as if you were training very hard for a race and you were training very hard running backwards. So on the day of the race, you would be the one that's running really well but running backwards, and goal is actually right in front of you. So don't be that person that is actually running very hard on that hamster wheel. Actually take a look. Where are you actually going? And actually see if your plan is actually matching up with the study skills that you're having at the moment, which is just study efficiency that we're talking about. And on to the third key category of inefficiencies, which is exam inefficiency. So this is also one big key part, which a lot of people may be working very hard, they're studying very hard, or they might be even using good study techniques and memorization techniques. But when it comes to the results, it can still be a disappointing result that doesn't reflect all the blood and sweat that's put into preparing for this exam. So why is that? This is because of the third key, which is exam inefficiency. So imagine if you're going into the exam and you have a massive mind blank or you have test anxiety, then that becomes a huge problem. Or if you do have poor exam techniques, sometimes you're making silly mistakes, meaning if you are reading the exam question but you're actually putting it down the wrong answer later, then you come and review this and you realize that, oh, actually I'm actually writing down the wrong answer because I interpreted the question wrong. So all of these are down to exam techniques and how you're also actually performing yourself as well, how you manage your test anxiety, how you actually keep yourself up in terms of your own personal performance. All of these are key in terms of your exam inefficiency. So I'd actually like to know, what are the current study problems that you have, maybe the top 3 that you have, and can you actually correctly identify which of these key areas that we've talked about, the time efficiency, the study efficiency, and exam efficiency, are you actually able to create a 4th category or even a 5th category? I'd really love to know, so please leave in the comments below. So if you would like to know a little bit more about how to improve your inefficiencies in terms of your time, study, and exam efficiency, I've created a link below where you can follow on and learn a lot more in terms of a more structured way to tackle specific problems. For example, procrastination, for example, the memory problems, study planning problems, all in the link below. So if you have enjoyed this, please check out the link below. Otherwise, I look forward to seeing you in the next one right now.